So you want to be a motovlogger? Well, me too. As soon as I figure it out, I'll let you know. And personally, I don't think I'm doing too terribly bad. I mean, you guys are watching this now, right? So I figured today we'll talk about what gear I use and my approach to motovlogging. Now, there's not one particular template that works for everybody, right? So what works for me may not necessarily work for you. Probably step one is to watch other people's motovlogs. Because the first thing you probably need to figure out is, other than why you want to do this, is how you want to do it. It doesn't have to be super expensive either. I mean, you can go buy the latest GoPro if you want, but my first setup was my inexpensive ILM helmet, which was a modular, so wind noise was not great. It's also not, like I said, it's inexpensive, so it was built to a price point. The camera I started with, it's actually one of those cheap knockoff cameras. I can't even remember the name. I'll put it up here, and there's going to be links into the description for all this stuff. Make it super easy for you guys to find, but I think it was like an $80 camera. The cool thing is it came with a USB microphone. The problem I had was I could never get the microphone situated to cut down on the wind noise at a level that was satisfactory to me. And I could never figure out how to do it in post without it completely just gutting the sound of the bike and making it sound like somebody stepping on my boys, you know what I mean? I know it can be done, it's just beyond my skill level at the time. And as far as mounting it to the helmet, some people like to do the side mount, some people put it on the top. I like putting it on the chin, just so you guys get that POV, because you're seeing what I'm seeing. And to do that, I just took one of the mounts this camera came with, which it comes with a whole slew of GoPro knockoff mounts, and this product called, I think it's Surgu, something. It's like a glue, but it's like a moldable putty. And then I just used that to fill in the gaps on the side, and that mount's been super stable. I mean, actually, I still use that helmet and that mount on the Katana, because my icon I'm wearing now on the shadow whistles. My riding position, windshield, and helmet just line up perfectly to where anything above 50, it whistles, and it's noticeable, and it's extremely annoying. But in an attempt to get better audio, at one point I had a little Bluetooth headset inside that helmet, which is still in there. I use that for listening to music on the way to and from work. So I would link that and record all my audio on my phone. The problem is that made it sound like I was on some sort of old-time radio or something. Or it's like we were on the phone, like I was on the phone with you guys the whole time, talking to you, and that was not good either. So then, I ended up buying a Zoom H1N recorder, which this thing's great because it just knocks out all the excess noise. So it removes all the wind noise for me. The only thing with that, though, is now I'm recording audio and video separately, so you have to sync them up, which once you get the hang of doing that, it's really not that hard. Because in your editing software, you should see spikes from the audio. So basically, you turn both of them on, which I hit the power buttons at the same time. And you can either use the horn on your bike, I use engine noise, I turn them both on and then I start it. And then you just line up the spikes, and then you're good. Then I strip the audio from the video and render it together for my quote-unquote raw footage, and then edit from there. And as far as what to show and what to cut out, I'm of the belief that unless you're saying something or showing somebody something, it probably doesn't need to be in there. Think of it kind of like a less is more, and don't be afraid to kill your darlings. Like if you made a joke that you thought really, really stuck, but if it doesn't fit the video, get it out of there. I'd also recommend scripting your videos, which this one I did, but I couldn't figure out how I wanted to film it, so I pretty much scrapped it, and we're just talking off the cuff here. So now I gotta backtrack to a different, that's the whole thing, so you're not backtracking, stumbling over yourself, going, what do I say? So getting back to the actual gear, is that cheap cam was nice. From the price point, it could record in 4K up to 30 frames. What I always did was I recorded in 2.7K 30 frames because that is the highest resolution you can have and still have the image stabilization work. So then I'll take that 2.7K raw footage and then I'll render it in 1080. As long as when you compile the video you don't do a resolution higher than what you recorded in, you should be good. Otherwise, it's going to look like crap. The downside of that camera, though, is it didn't have, like, a zoomed out view. Like, you could see from, like, here to here, and then down to, like, here. And that was all you got. I think GoPro calls it super view, which that one didn't have. This camera, however, the one I'm using now, which I mainly bought for cool B-roll footage, it's my Insta360 1X. I went with the 1 instead of the 2 or 3 because, well, it's cheaper. Looking back, I would have just spent the extra money. I mean, I think I paid like $300 for this. The 3X was like $450, almost $5. The benefit of the newer ones, though, is I think they're waterproof. This one is not. So I lost one of those cheap cams one time to rain, and so this one we're babying. So when I see gray clouds like that, I get nervous. The thing I really, really like about 360 cameras is it records everything. So I don't have to worry about where this camera's pointed like I did with the other one, because I can just do it in post. And the thing is, I like working with this camera so much, and I love the angles it provides. It's my main camera. It's what I use now. It's what I record everything with. At least if I'm on the bike. If I'm doing something off the bike, a lot of times I'll just use my cell phone, which it's nothing great. It's a newer Android. It's a Galaxy something. But it's not like the newest. Pretty much as long as you're recording in 1080p at minimum 30 frames, anything beyond that, in my opinion, isn't necessary. So when I'm on the Shadow, I've been using my new helmet. It's the Icon Quicksilver with the gold force shield, which I think looks really, really cool. And the mount I actually got from Chin Mounts. So if you have like a name brand helmet, chances are they make a GoPro mount for it. And the 3M tape's been holding so far. So fingers crossed it stays that way. So now that you have your footage, you gotta edit it somehow, right? If you're looking for decent editing software, I would look at OpenShot. I use the paid version of Win Movie Maker. Basically anything you can hit that works for you. A lot of guys use Adobe Premiere, but there are good free options out there too. Like I said, OpenShot is a pretty good one, which doesn't have a watermark, because the watermark just looks unprofessional. If you have a Mac, I heard iMovie's really good. I'm a PC guy, so I don't have that option. I don't know for sure. But it doesn't take a lot of money to get into this stuff. I mean, kind of really doesn't. I mean, the motorcycle is probably, and related gear that I'm not wearing is probably your biggest costs. And also what I would recommend is head on over to the vidIQ channel, because that's where I learned a lot. Watching the videos and watching their live channel reviews gave me a lot of information. And if you watch some of my older videos to the new ones here, there's a big difference in what I used to do. So that's pretty much the gear I use and my kind of thought process on doing motovlogs. There's multiple different styles. Not everything fits for everybody, and you just gotta go out there, do it, and see what works for you. I will say this, though. Listen to your subscribers. It's actually kind of how this video came about. Somebody asked me what equipment I was using. I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a video about it. Someone asked me about getting into the carburetor. I made a video about it. I had a comment saying, hey man, these subtitles popping up on these shorts are like giving me a headache. So hey, cool, we'll try something else. And that's what a lot of it is. It's just, don't be afraid to try new things on the channel. Don't be afraid to experiment. And if something doesn't work, try something else. So hopefully that answers the question of what I use and how I approach my videos. And if you guys want to see my very first motovlog, check out this video right here. And until next time, y'all be good. See ya.